and transform the organization. Don't let the technology transform to the way you used to do things and the way your mainframe used to work or your on-prem used to work. And all of that to get faster delivery, less effort, high quality, and get there faster. Speed is absolutely critical. So with that, we're going to actually talk about an example of a company reinventing themselves. I'm going to ask Paul Tomlinson, Chief Operating Officer at China Light and Power, to come and join me on stage.
Hey.
Well, thanks for taking the time. Let's start China Light and Power. Tell us about the organization, the vision, what China Light and Power does.
So in Hong Kong, it's the power generator, and it transmits the electricity and distributes it to low voltage for customers to use. Some important numbers: we've got 6 million customers. We've got round about 6,000 employees. And throughout the year, we'll interact with another 6,000 contractors. When you add all those numbers together, it's not just a utility company. It serves 80% of Hong Kong. It's part of the fabric of Hong Kong, and the people really rely on us.
Yep. So you've got a massive reinvention, leveraging Oracle technologies. Tell us a little bit about the project, where you're using Oracle. Tell us about the journey you're on.
It feels like we're using Oracle everywhere. We're replacing a SAP system that went in 25 years ago that was immediately highly customized with 100 applications that eventually made it unsustainable. And as part of our change strategy, we're moving to a digital core of Oracle. And we're really working hard with the team now to make sure it's vanilla and out of the box. And we're zero customizations. And in Accenture speak, of 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s, we're trying to get as many to 5 as we can. The really interesting thing is we've had to release the potential of the staff to empower them to do that. It doesn't come natural to Hong Kongers to necessarily take the initiative because they've been told what to do. And we're allowing them to think, and it's really good to see that they're taking the initiative and moving further towards vanilla.
Yep. Now, I talked in the presentation about looking at the entire enterprise, and it's not just about finance and supply chain, but the core business, transmission, distribution, power gen. Tell me a little bit about the scope of the technology deployment, because you're going end to end. Tell me.
Yeah. I mean, it's a real end to end. I mean, we're just like utilities around the world. We're heavily regulated. Utilities have got sustainability criteria that they need to meet, and it needs to be lean, agile, and easy to get to. So sustainability, customer, asset management, HR, procurement, and finance, we're doing everything. The first 3 are procurement, finance, and HR, and then the next wave is the following year. So it touches every part of the business, which is a great opportunity to change the direction of the business and get that communication out there.
Yeah, and we talked about the benefits in the operation. I assume that's a big part of the vision, to transform the core of the business, the transmission, the distribution, the way you run your assets.
Yeah, well, look, our biggest cost is our fuel bill. So if we can make things more efficient, that's going to be quite a game changer. But the 2 big business units, the generation business unit and the power systems, effectively spend the majority of the money. So intuitively, that's where the biggest savings are going to come from.
Yeah. Now, one of the things we talked about is a people-first approach to your project, which I think is incredibly important. Tell us a little bit about how you're looking at it, how you're putting people first your approach to change?
Well, so those numbers that I referred to earlier, 6 million customers, were rolling out a full suite of advanced metering infrastructure. So hopefully we'll be able to help that change their customer experience more positively. With 6,000 employees, Hong Kong is a reasonably tight labour market. So not only are we empowering them and giving them a really interesting project to do, we're able to demonstrate to them that we want to be the employer of choice, so we want them to want to work with us. And when we advertise jobs, we want the best people to want to come to us, because the word of mouth gets out there that we're doing things right and we're doing the right things. And also with the contract base, they're easily overlooked, the contract base, as just suppliers. But they're really important, and just like we want to be the employer of choice for our colleagues, we want the contractors to choose to come and work with us. Hong Kong's going to go through a real project boom soon, and there will be a labour shortage, and the contractors will be able to choose where they go and work. And it isn't only a financial decision. They want to feel valued. They want a lean and agile process that's easily understood. They want to feel safe. They want to be safe. And that's what we're focusing on.
And the next generation of employees, they expect technology to be easy, intuitive, as you said, agile, straightforward.
Yeah. It's more difficult for the very old employees like me. The young employees, I mean, they're just amazing. They've forgotten more about IT than I'll ever know, and it's a joy to see them come in, pick up, explain to the old folk, and help us learn.
So this is some very significant transformation, completely wall-to-wall with Oracle. Talk about challenges you've already faced, challenges you're anticipating. Let's talk a little bit about the challenge, because these things are not easy.
Yeah, well, look, we're 5 months into the 43-month project, and Paula says the heavy lifting's yet to come. It feels like there's quite a bit there at the moment. Actually convincing our colleagues to, I didn't say CLP's over 120 years old, and things just build up, and processes and procedures, and SAP being embedded for so long, it becomes difficult to shift. And a main reason for choosing Oracle was the signal of change, so that it enabled people to say, actually, it's okay to change. And we make a point of saying, we're not actually criticizing the last 25 years. We're just saying we've got a different journey ahead and a different destination. So you've not necessarily done anything wrong, but we want to do it more right going forward. And the teams are going through it. We've just started the 552 process of reviewing the documents. And some of the feedback is amazingly good and detailed. And reassuringly friendly between the teams. No one's trying to score on any points. They're all jointly motivated to get to the end of it. Everyone's scared of being the first person to go to 6. So they're really engaged in it.
And you mentioned you chose Oracle, and one of the many reasons was to signify change. And I talked about this is not a technology project. You view this as a business transformation, right? This is really about the business changing.
Yeah. So one of the key pieces of feedback when we were analyzing for the final investment decision, one that really struck a chord with me was the user experience feedback. So, we'd had showcases, show and tell, where the companies came in, and the user interface and the feel of our colleagues and liking the look of it. That was really important, because you're listening to them. They want something that they feel is going to make them more efficient. And it's not just a nice screen. They go into the detail. But that feedback was quite critical in making the change decision.
Yeah, that's critical. And I know the entire leadership team, I talk about leadership engagement, the leadership team at China Land and Power fully engaged, including yourself.
Yeah. So. I mean, it's got everyone's attention, and quite rightly so.
It should.
It's the biggest project we've got as a company, as you can imagine. The risk is we go into too much detail. So, we've got to let the project run itself to an extent with oversight and guidance rather than, day-to-day interference. Everyone is really invested in it, CEO down and from the bottom up as well. It feels like it's got the right amount of airtime.
Yep. I tell CEOs and COOs and CFOs, if this is not in your top 3 priorities, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Well, it seems to be it's migrated to be more than my top priority. I'm probably spending 30% of my time at the moment on it, and to be honest, I can't really see that changing.
I don't think it will. Sustainability, hugely important to China Land and Power. It's a part of the project. Tell me a little more about sustainability.
Well, I mean, I've learned more about sustainability in the last 4 weeks than I ever thought I'd need to know, because in terms of the length that the sustainability team have to go to create the annual report, and it was hundreds of Excel spreadsheets and data mining, and I mean, that can't have been very awe-inspiring for them to have to do year after year. And what we're doing now is making it more streamlined, it'll never be press one button because legislation changes. But, the look of joy on the face when they realize that it's going to be more automated because we can pull the data out of the system that's digitally secure and accurate. It's a big change for them.
Yeah, and every company in every industry is going to have to report the same way they report their financials, with the same level of diligence and automation and not running spreadsheets everywhere.
Well, carbon intensity is a key figure around the world, and we report it to 2 decimal places, and we're on the right trajectory going downwards to decarbonize the fuel mix and the electricity generation. And it's going to be clearly evident. It's going to automatically come out of the system.
Yeah. So as we wrap up, I know there's probably many people in the room thinking about a program, a reinvention. Any thoughts, any advice, any lessons you've learned so far as you've gone through the selection and selected Oracle, and we're fortunate to have been selected as well. And any thoughts of the journey you've been on and the journey ahead?
Well, it's the first one I've done, so I think it's going pretty well. I think the emphasis that we put on people in terms of the ordinary running of the business, we need to make sure that transcends into the project team as quickly and efficiently as we can make it. The Accenture team are living away from home. It's a major commitment, and I would expect that they would feel welcome. When we spoke earlier this morning, a key sort of psychological metric I've got when I walk into the room is seeing how many of them are smiling. That's a good measure. So we need to make sure that it's one CLP team, and that includes Oracle and Accenture, and we're prepared to put whatever effort we need to get that.
I think that's very, very important. You say the smile on people's faces. Management, by walking around and just feeling the room and the enthusiasm, is critical.
Yeah, and it's really scary when they're not smiling.
Agreed. Paul, it's been a real pleasure. Thank you very much. Thanks for sharing the insights. And thank you all.